Hello to the True Blue Crew. Getting ahead of myself. I'm Andy, and this is True Blue Quilts, a place to enjoy, experiment, and excel as you quilt. And my name is Andy, and I am here live every Tuesday at 8 a.m. Pacific time to chat with my quilt friends, my True Blue Crew. So I'm so glad that you could join me today. And I just have to describe my setup a little bit. I usually like to set up a quilt behind me, but since I have some show and tell today, I did not get out the quilt. So I'm in a little bit different space in my house, and I've got a big mirror off to the side. So that's I'm trying to adjust the camera and the frame. To use all the technical terms, the frame isn't exactly right. So if you've done any DIY video production, you understand the struggles of finding the perfect backdrop and being able to get the cameras and stuff all set up. So to all the news anchors and cameramen out there, props to you, because this is not an easy thing to stage a live broadcast. I'm dealing with a paper cut. You know, it's the little things in life that can make a big difference, and just those little irritations. But the paper cut came because I was opening the box. I needed to get the pre-work done, those packing tape issues resolved before I came on camera, because I have a secondary shipment from Island Batik. In 2021, I am an Island Batik ambassador, which means that for the Island Batik fabric company, I have partnered with them. They provide me with fabric, and I make great stuff. As I shared before, I am in the middle of a bag challenge. So I've been working on that, and you can look for that reveal on other social media channels and my blog when I get that done here, hopefully next week. That will premiere. But because of the supply chain issues that we are experiencing here in 2021, some of the fabric shipments were delayed. So I did, for the ambassador program, Island Batik sends you 2 shipments a year with fabric and supplies to make the monthly projects. And so I did that unveiling. You can search back on this YouTube channel back in July. I did my summer unboxing video, but they didn't have all the fabric in stock. So all the ambassadors got a second shipment, and that's what I want to share with you today. So nice. Everybody loves to see the man in brown show up with great stuff on your doorstep. And let's do the big stuff first. These are some pre-cuts. They gave us 2 yards of coordinates. So these are from their foundations line. Island Batik has specific colorways that are always available. So if you visit islandbatik.com and look at their foundations, you can find some of these great prints. I love this watercolor style of batik fabric. So that's a nice, if the color's not coming through exactly on my camera, it's a nice light teal, sky bluish shade. And then this fabulous blue and magenta, pinky purple, just coordinates beautifully. So you can see those 2 colors together. Let me go to the side that doesn't have stickers on it. So those 2 are such fun to play with. And then let's see some more of the big bundles, the bigger cuts. I've got Marble Storm. So that's a little bit deeper blue, not so much teal, but definitely a light sky blue with some darker royal and navy blue elements in it there. That colorway is called Storm. And then this nice dark blue with just a hint of lighter blue texture on it. And let me unpack that and look at the colorway. This is Sapphire. Oh, it looks really dark on camera, but it's a nice navy blue, dark blue with, like I said, with some of those lighter blue texture elements in there that look like leaves or fingerprints almost. You know how you see the swirls in fingerprints? So that's really, really cool. And you know me, I'm all about blue. So those fabrics will be gorgeous. Oh. This is a set of 2.5-inch strips, and this is called Constellations. And these fabrics are just my jam. I love, love, love a blue gradient. And if you haven't heard yet, September 18th, this coming Saturday, the third, is it going to be the third Saturday? The third Saturday in September is National Sew a Jelly Roll Day. So I am very excited to dig into this set of strips and make a new quilt for Jelly Roll Day. So I am really excited about this. So you'll see this coming up. This is the Constellations collection from Island Batik, and it just has a gorgeous range of blues, all the way from a very light white background all the way up to that navy blue, and just fun sky type elements, that swirly print, and lots of dots, maybe some stars in there. We'll have to see when I open that up on Saturday. So maybe an extra live broadcast on Saturday. And then the other pre-cut is the 10-inch squares. And this one is called Midnight Dazzle. And this is more of a rainbow selection, heavy on the blues, which makes me really, really happy. And the fun ribbon from Island Batik that they have printed, because the other pre-cuts were packaged to coordinate with these collections. So that's a lot of fun. Sometimes it's hard. You get those patterns that use the jelly rolls or the layer cakes, the 2.5-inch strips and the 10-inch squares, but they need a coordinate. So, obviously to make a full-size quilt, you would need some extra fabric and not just those. But look at that fun range of colors in Midnight Dazzle. So I will have to go through my pattern ideas and see what I can do with these 10-inch squares. Isn't that a wonderful bundle? So lots of fun. And these are just, you can see the texture there. That's what I love about Island Batik fabrics in particular. As I have gone through my quilting journey, I don't particularly buy those multicolor graphic prints with, characters or identifiable scenes. I'm more about the color play and the contrast in the blocks, in the block shape. So I love the tone on tone. I do like the texture. I don't work a lot with solids because I like a little bit of variation in the fabric. So this kind of print is my absolute favorite, those tone on tone colors. And you get such gorgeous jewel tones in the batik. So absolutely love that. Thank you so much to Island Batik. The second thing I want to share with you today is my mini quilt that I made last weekend. So I let me take a pause here and say hello again to all our viewers. Drop a comment in the chat and let me know who you are, where you're watching from. It's always fun to say hi to members of the True Blue crew. So, and if you watch on the replay, hashtag replay lets me know that you watch later, and I do monitor those comments. So I would love to stay in touch with you. So let me grab that mini quilt. Ta-da! This quilt, let me just tell you the parameters. I am a member of the Phoenix Modern Quilt Guild, and every year they host a Make It Modern challenge where they tell you 1 week prior what the inspiration block is. And this year, the inspiration block was birds in the air. And that is a traditionally pieced block that has a half square triangle and then 3 other half square triangles in a contrasting color. And that block has been around forever, at least 100 years probably, called Birds in the Air. And it's a fun, I love half square triangles. So that is a fun block. But the challenge in the sew day, so you get the block inspiration 1 week ahead of time. So you can start mentally planning and selecting fabrics. But then the day of the challenge, you have 3 hours to sew your mini quilt. It needs to be at least 12 inches per side, 12 by 12 square. So 48-inch perimeter minimum. And you can use any technique. I am mostly a traditional piecer, some paper piecing, but I would imagine that with those time constraints, I wouldn't want to attempt a very large paper piecing project. So think about the elements of modern design. You want negative space, you want alternate grid work. Those are the 2 primary ones I used in this layout. Sometimes deconstructed elements work. And one of the parameters of the challenge was you had to maintain 1 element of the design. So that leaves it wide open. You could have made a quilt that focused on half square triangles because that's 1 element of the Birds in the Air block. I chose, obviously, to keep the main layout of the block with 1 large triangle and then 3 other triangles. I changed it up, though, by using different sizes, and I switched to half rectangle triangles. My favorite method of half rectangle triangles is the angle play template system. And I do have other videos on my channel that detail the angle play templates. In fact, my recent series for the Meteor quilt was all done with angle play templates. And I know there's other methods for making half rectangle triangles. You could draw a rectangle and draw the diagonal and then paper piece. So that's one method for half rectangle triangles. There is a piecing method similar to 2 at a time half square triangles where you offset the rectangles and sew down both sides of the line. That just seems like too much thinking. My brain doesn't work that way to visualize how those fabrics offset and make the correct size rectangle. So I depend on templates. Obviously, with templates, you're going to have a little bit of fabric waste, but they save time and they're more accurate. So I can put up with a little bit of fabric waste to get the results I want. So I chose 3 different sizes of rectangles and pieced those with a plain background. Then for the main portion, the large portion of the block, I did some improv piecing. I started with a triangle of fabric, and then I just went log cabin style and added strips and different segments until that section was large enough for the piece that I wanted. I was using a 15-inch square ruler as my kind of my guide for the overall size. And I went ahead and had this as an improv kind of wonky piece. So I did not stress too much about cutting off the tips of my triangles. Um, Obviously, if this were going to be in a show or if I wrote a pattern for this, then I would increase the overall size and make sure things were spread out enough so that you don't lose those points. So that is purely a design decision for me. The time constraints of having to get a whole quilt done in 3 hours. I was really worried when I started the improv piecing that it was taking way too long. I was never going to finish because we had to quilt and bind the project in that 3 hours. But I worked faster than I thought I would, so I actually was done very early, so I could have taken a little more time. But this is the first time I've done a challenge like that with those time constraints, so that was a lot of fun. The other thing I did was add hanging tabs to my project. You could get, my plan is to get a small wooden dowel and hang this, or get one of those hanging bars that has a metal bar that I can put through those loops. So I just did a tube of fabric and I turned it right side out so that the seam is hidden on the inside of these tabs, and I cut them about 2.5, 3 inches long so that they could be sewn into the binding. So I just layered the tabs underneath the binding strip, and so between the binding strip and my quilt. And then as I attached the binding to the back, those tabs were caught underneath. And then when I sewed, the way I do my binding is I sew to the back and then bring it around to the front, and then I just do that little stay stitch seam right on the edge of the binding on the front. So you do see that line of thread if you're looking really, really close. But it gives it a really nice finished edge. And then, so I made sure those flaps were folded out of the way when I sewed that other line so they didn't get sewn down to the back. So now this is ready to hang, and I think it is just a really fun modern mini quilt. So that's what I have been working on the last couple weeks. And these fabrics are also from Island Batik. All of these prints are from the Sticks and Stones collection from Island Batik. So that's new in stores today, and just great, great texture in there. This is more of a dark, almost black color with some gray, and this is more of a bluish gray and taupe kind of color in these fabrics, but they all play together really, really well. So I hope you enjoy the fabrics that I have shown today from Island Batik, and I'd love to hear about your upcoming projects. Do you have anything planned for Jelly Roll Day coming up this Saturday? I've got some fun stuff in the works, and I hope to see you soon. Have a great day.